I currently stream everything about making indie games as a business and sharing my journey along that adventure. My very first few streams were sim racing, and I did it so that I could hang out with my dad and that he could watch the race while I did it, and then we could call each other after the race. And very soon after that, I started streaming my AI and racing simulations project. People could join the server that my AI was racing in, and they got interested in it. And that's basically where I started my stream, just to show people what the visualizations looked like. And that became let's try doing this more regularly. And when I started doing early morning developments in late 2017, that's when I really started having a very consistent schedule for streaming and started growing my channel and becoming what I am now. Streaming my indie adventure allows me to remain laser focused on the tasks at hand and not get distracted when I go to share a GIF or something on Twitter. You open Twitter, share the GIF, jump off, and continue working on your game rather than getting sucked into the black hole of scrolling the endless feed. Before streaming, my indie adventure was a lot more hobby-esque. I would jump in and make my games whenever I kind of felt like it, but there was no schedule to it. It was just like, I have some time, let's make some games, and I wasn't taking anything seriously at all. But I've always had a dream to make money from my own games, enough that I can continue making my own games. And so when I started streaming, that rigorous schedule really hopped me on track, and I started taking it seriously as a business, started tracking my hours, and basically paying attention to things like how to make a game that's going to actually sell. Live streaming does take a little bit of time outside of just pushing record and, going live. For the most part, I'd say at least 99% of the time that I put in is my indie adventure and moving me forward along that adventure better than I would without streaming. But there are some costs, like trying to investigate a new setup, maybe getting a camera set up the first time. Most of this cost for me is kind of gone unless I'm actually trying to make some improvements to stream, and you should always be doing that to some degree. It's hard to measure exactly how much time that costs because it's kind of small, at least in the long term. Streaming is pretty social, but I am not a social person. I can't say I'd go out of my way to not say hello to somebody that passes by on the street and says hello, but I wouldn't be the one to initiate the hello. Once somebody engages me with a conversation, it's all fine. So to me, streaming is just talking about what I'm doing, which did take a little bit of practice getting used to just saying what's in your head. Like, I am going to click this button. That's literally how it started for me. And then people start the conversation with you and you just converse back with them. That's a whole lot easier than trying to go up to someone and say, hey, how's it going? For streaming, you actually don't need all that much equipment. A reasonable web camera and a microphone will be a great start. And in a pinch, you can kind of ditch the webcam. And I don't think you need to go out and spend a lot of money on the microphone, but at the same time, paying attention to your quality and upgrading when you can does help a significant bit for growing the stream. For streaming game development, you're streaming basically to a technical audience, and you need to be explaining what you're doing along the way. Dealing with people of different experience levels can be a challenge because sometimes you have people that are very newbie, they're just learning right from the starts, and then you have people that are very experienced, maybe more experienced than you. Over a very long period of time, you just start collecting other regulars that like to come in and check out what you're doing. A viewer does not see every stream or every minute of every stream. Generally speaking, some people will come in once a week and just say, hey, how's it been going this week? And they'll stay there for like 5 or 10 minutes asking a couple questions and then hop off. Maybe they're just sitting there lurking in the background, because that definitely happens too. People don't even talk, they just watch. The regulars, they come over time. You just need to stick with what you're doing, know the reasons why you're doing it, and keep doing what you love. Streaming does keep me on schedule. It keeps me Coming up with goals so I can tell my community what I want to be working on for the next month. And then at the end of that month, we can review how I did, what might have changed during the month, or what went better than expected, and kind of reflect and learn from those lessons. Viewers are quite amazing, and they will certainly help shape your game in real time by giving you feedback. You can give them builds for playtests, but even before the playtesting phase, a lot of viewers can be like, there might be a better way to do this in code, or there might be a better way to make the art that you're trying to make, and ideas are spouted all the time. Like, it would be cool if something else happened. And that's all great, but it is a double-edged sword. There's a lot of good ideas that come from this, but there's a lot of ideas also that don't fit your idea. If it's not good for your game, you just need to snip it out and be like, that's a great idea. We can maybe use it on a different project. Streaming has been providing some form of income for my adventure. Actually, it's been the key cornerstone of my adventure for income right now. And for that, I am extremely grateful for everyone that's chipped in and helped me out. It is not my key motivator though. Doing the stream is a motivator in the sense of I told people I'm going to be here at this time every morning, every day. So that's my block of time. It kind of sets a schedule for my life that ensures I take my dreams of building a business and racing games seriously and actually give it the time it deserves. A lot of viewers ask me if streaming is my way of marketing my games, and that is an absolute no to me. Streaming is about giving back to the game development community, helping other people. I apparently have been inspiring and motivating others to get on with their projects and make progress in their own adventures. But streaming is not about marketing. Streaming can be a marketing tool if you give your game to other influencers that play games with large audiences. But when you're building a game development stream, you're attracting game developers. And you do not want to market your game to game developers. There may be some percentage of game developers that will buy and play your games, but that's not going to make enough sales to actually get you to float. Streaming does sometimes bring others that will help you on your journey by just, they're other game developers, they have their own experiences, and with you streaming game development, some of those will join your stream and start, giving you aid, whether that's just some comments or some code snippets or whatever other form it might come in as. It helps your adventure in ways that's very difficult to describe. Another question I get often is, are you afraid that somebody's going to be stealing your idea if you have a good game idea or something? Another one that I've seen is, are you afraid that somebody's going to be stealing your source code? My answer is no. I used to be. I used to guard my ideas and my source code and be like very closed up, like this is mine, nobody else can see it because I'm going to rule the world and this is the way it's going to be. Coming up with a good idea is easy. Actually making that idea into a product or something takes a very, very long and hard road that you need to put in the effort. Having a regular schedule absolutely helps you build a audience because it gives the audience a time and place to find you. If you just do it randomly after work, Thursdays, then Mondays, then Tuesdays, or whatever your schedule might be, and you're just choosing random days each week, no one's going to know when to find you, so it's going to be very hard for them to actually show up. And part of what built my stream, I believe, is having that very consistent every day, every morning, I will be there streaming between these 3 hours. By giving the people a when and a where, they will show up, and as more show up, it attracts other people just by the numbers slowly growing. When you start streaming, I don't think it's super important to find something very specific or niche to do. Mistakes are inevitable when you're streaming. You're going to make them, you're going to feel stupid, and it's going to, it might make you feel nervous or embarrassed, but it's already happened. You can't fix it. So my defense mechanism is just laugh at it, try to learn in the future, and keep on going. Because, as I said, you can't fix it. It's already happened. Streaming is different from creating a YouTube video or something where you can edit out all those mistakes and it looks picture perfect. And the viewers know this. The viewers don't care that you made an oopsie. They really don't. Most of them will either laugh with you or just let it be. It took me a long time to be comfortable with making those mistakes because I would be like, oh my god, I just said something stupid. Let me end my stream. But there's no reason to end your stream. It's discomfort to show yourself on camera. There is kind of I feel like I'm being an idiot. And you know what? Sometimes you are an idiot. 250 plus 250 equals 100. That has happened. And you just gotta say it with confidence and it's still not true. But it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. People are gonna understand that this is a live stream. You don't need to be perfect. It's not a YouTube video. 3 years ago, I didn't feel that way. 3 years ago, I felt very nervous, like, oh my god, I made a mistake, and it would take a while to recover. But these days, it's just, haha, keep on going. Streaming can actually also cause distractions. I know I've been saying that streaming helps me stay laser focused, and for the most part, it really does. Like, for the most part, it'll keep me right on track. But every now and then, you're going to have a day where chat just takes your mind off whatever you're working on, and they want to have a conversation generally about what you're doing as a whole, but it can distract you from the day-to-day stuff that you were initially planning on working on in that particular moment. So sometimes those distractions will come and the community is just trying to engage with you, which gives you the opportunity to engage back with them and grow you and your channel. When streaming, a lot of different people are going to enter your stream and talk about their own opinions. Whether you're using the wrong language or wrong framework, you should be using Unity, you should be building your own engine, you should use Unreal. Like, all of this comments will come up while you're streaming game development from people that have their own strong opinions about what they use. Sometimes it's good to investigate this a little bit if you're unsure of your own opinions, because it's great to stay open-minded. Why do they think the way they're thinking? You can ask them what's important about the thing they're trying to suggest. But it's very important that you know what works for you and you stick to your guns when something does work. Overall, the input from others is generally helpful to me making a business in games because it gives me views and keeps me thinking about things on a broader scale. Every now and then you are going to deal with somebody being trolly on your stream. It's the internet. People have anonymity and they forget that there's a human on the other side of the world. One of the best ways to deal with this is getting some moderators that you trust, and often they'll take care of the problem right away. And the other way is kind of a mental thing you need to practice a bit, and that's ignoring comments that have no purpose to you. Somebody can say something rude and give you a reason why there's value in what they're saying, and you can ignore the rude part and take the value and kind of take that criticism to make changes. But if somebody just says something rude and doesn't have anything else to offer, that comment makes absolutely no sense to put any thought into. Just completely ignore it. So one of the problems with streaming is everything is publicly available instantly, and if it's even shown on your screen for a fraction of a second, it's too late. This is a problem when you type out or have a password in your copy buffer and you accidentally paste it, which has happened on more than one occasion on my stream. This requires a bit of a panic moment. They will certainly find it and they will go for it. So if you have leaked a password, jump in, change it, deal with it immediately. It's going to halt, it's going to suck. But that is a big problem with streaming. Everything is public. You're going to have to accept that sometimes you're going to make a mistake. Something is going to happen that you didn't want. Even if you're super careful. There's just some unexpected things that happen with computers. My strategy is, and always has been, don't show the password. Streaming is not about marketing. It is about staying focused and continuing on with your development, looking forward to your long-term goals. Some percentage of viewers are probably going to buy the games more to support you, the streamer, than because they're an avid fan of the type of game. Now, this might change in the future after I've released several games and more players start coming into my streams that are just a fan of my products. So that is a possibility. It can be used as a marketing tool in that regard. But as you're starting out, you're a developer. Other developers are coming to watch you through your process. They're trying to learn from your process or even help you. They will probably support you by buying your game when you're releasing it, but it's not your target audience. You really want to find players because that's how you're actually going to make sales. It's just not right to market your game to the developers expecting that to be, this is my marketing strategy, I'm going to sell lots of copies because I've been streaming my development since the start of this game, so there it is, 1,000,000 copies sold. That's not going to happen without reaching players. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Share it with others that would be interested in streaming or considering to stream. And, as always, subscribe for game development tips and techniques. Until later, have a good one. I've been growing my stream since I started. That's dumb, Tim.